fair. What are you going to say about it? I mean, it's the best thing to come out of Iowa since corn dogs. Rugged, reliable, Ruger, the LCP. You know, this is a very interesting gun to me. It's a very light pocket gun.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is tiny. It weighs next to nothing. You know, it fires a 380 round. I'm a big fan of the 380 round. To me, it's an interesting gun. The trigger is appallingly bad. You know, the worst part about it is it has that reset is there's the oh no, that's not the reset. That's the false reset. And there's the real reset. Because of that, it's really tough to get the feel for running the gun quick, which is exactly kind of how it needs to be run. Hold from a pocket, very, very close distance. I think in the hands of a very good shooter, of an experienced shooter, this is a perfect, you know, better than nothing pocket gun.
Yeah, but as an experienced shooter, actually buying this gun.
No, that's the problem with it. It's got reverse marketing, kind of.
Yeah. That'd be what I say. You know, that would be great if you were that person to use this gun, but that's not the person who ends up with this gun. Usually it's more the beginner or the extremely budget-conscious shooter. I level many of the same criticisms I level any gun this size. It's too small to really work well as a gun. It's hard to shoot. Definitely a knife that throws lead. It's very hard to shoot. It does recoil a little bit more, but if this is all you can carry, it's better than nothing. If it's all you can have, or it's all that'll fit into your system, then it's better than nothing. But I'm almost rather have a knife than this, because you're pretty much working at knife distance with this. Yeah. It's certainly mechanically capable at longer distances, but the person behind it usually is.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm not going to say anything nice. This is my first time with this, and it is December in Minnesota, right? And even though we filmed this on a day, it happens to be 50 degrees, thank goodness for us, I ran this with gloves, and it was like a nightmare.
So this is the Ruger LCP. Man, it's a popular gun. We sell these in the shop for right around 300 bucks. So I don't expect a whole lot from it. And the sights are terrible, but got a long trigger pull, which I guess is good if you're stressed out, but let's see what this thing does here. I'm shooting this with gloves today to see if, because that's frankly where I am in Minnesota this time of year. Nice. I can barely get the reset with a glove on, so I'm going to ditch it to give the gun a little bit better run here. Yeah, I mean, up close I think it'd be a great little pistol, but boy, I mean, it gives you no feedback whatsoever on how the gun's operating or where you went into the last round. This would not be my choice, I think, for a defensive pistol, but look, for 300 bucks, it's a solid little gun.
To be honest with you, for me, this is, you know, but half the year here I'm wearing gloves. I've got to pull this out of my pocket and shoot it. I hated it. I mean, it was actually reasonably accurate, and we were shooting it further than I you know, would think this is the effective range of this gun. And
which is about throwing range.
Yeah, it's right. You know, it's right in your face. But I really struggled with it, and it was the trigger, which is terrible. So, looking at guns that cost $300 to $400, I would pay the extra money for the shield personally, or something like that. It's got a little more of a full-bodied grip. But you know what? An inexpensive gun is better than no gun at all. So, I'm probably not giving it a thumbs up.
Well, for me, the shield is way more massive than this.
That's true.
You know, there's no way in ladies' clothing you're usually going to be able to carry a shield in the summer. Absolutely not, no question. So I think this is in a totally different class from that, and you can't really compare it to the shield. I'm not sure if I've ever actually shot an LCP before, so this should be interesting. You know, as far as Mike said, I don't think the trigger pull is actually that bad. I think it's a big improvement over how the LCP used to be, and at some point Ruger kind of quietly improved it and made it so it's quite I mean, it's still longer, obviously, than, you know, a good single action or fire gun, but I definitely think it's a lot more tolerable than it was. What I'm more so worried about are these sights, which are just like itty bitty nubs. So, not sure I'm going to hit a whole lot of anything on these little steel targets, but we'll see. As far as the The feel of it in the hand, it actually feels fine to me, but then again, I have smaller hands than guys. Once I got the mag in there with the pinky rest, I've actually got all my fingers on it, so it doesn't feel too bad. Let's give it a try. Back on the last round, but yeah, actually not too bad. Just kind of had to slow down and think a little bit with those sights. Probably definitely more of a point shooter, and you know, if I was carrying this, I'd want to get a little more practice with that. Personally, I didn't think the trigger was that bad compared to some of the other double action onlys out there. You know, they changed the trigger on the LCP at some point recently. They didn't really advertise it, but if you pick up an older one, it is way farther back where it breaks. So it really feels a lot more of a struggle on the older ones to get the trigger to break. I think this one's, you know, pretty manageable, pretty reasonable. I shot actually decently with it, I thought, considering the sights. And to me, it's, you know, not a gun you're going to be using the sights too heavily on. You're going to want to practice with it and, you know, have it be more of a point shooter. Personally, I do like, say, the SIG 238 a lot more than this gun for another 380 that's super small and super sim, but that gun costs twice as much. So, you know, if you don't have the budget to jump into, you know, a $600 or $700 gun, I think this is still one of the best options out there.
Yeah. Junior?
Yeah.
No opinion?
There's a ton of flaws with the gun, but it is very cheap and very light. However, it's not terribly accurate, it has a terrible trigger. If you can pick the gun up at a good price, I can give it a thumbs up. But overall, just straight off the market, the way it's marketed, like you said, I mean, most often the people that do get this gun are the people that shouldn't get it, are the inexperienced shooters, and that's problematic because it is a hard draw and a hard gun to shoot. A really experienced shooter can be pretty effective with this, but they're not the ones who are going to buy it. So I guess I got to go
You're a meh?
Yeah.
All right, the first meh.
The gun is well executed for what Ruger designed it to be, but for function and role as a defensive gun, I would give it a thumbs down.
You're going thumbs down, so I got to go thumbs down.
I give it a thumbs up for $300. I think it's the best 380 that you can get in that price range. There are better options out there, but they typically cost